those 3 objections we were talking about before. You're not a trusted advisor, you don't give enough value, and their purchase isn't in line with their identity. We can learn that. But either way, we're going to learn both. Or we can get straight into the archetypes. What would you like?
Archetypes.
Archetypes. We can get straight into the archetypes. What would you like? Yeah, that's fun. Okay, so the archetypes themselves. Now, what these are overall, what these are going to teach you is how to create certain, or imply certain pieces of emotion and logic throughout the conversation, okay? There are 6 selling archetypes that you want to do more of. I'm just going to say it as simply as that. Do more of these archetypes in order to be more persuasive. And then there are 4 non-selling archetypes which you want to be able to stay away from, okay? And as I'm going through the 6 selling archetypes, you will notice parts of them like, I do that all the time. That is so me. And if that's the case, put up your hand, because we'll do role play, and it's really cool to watch when someone notices an archetype within themselves, and we have a conversation in that archetype, so that everyone else can get an experience of it. Is that cool? We're all here to support each other on that. And so you'll also notice though that the 4 non-selling archetypes, they'll come into play a lot, and a lot of you will be turning away sales because of it, and you may not even be realizing it, okay? So let's get into it. The importance of the archetypes, particularly having awareness around them, is, I talk with some clients about this every now and then. The idea of that everything that I'm teaching you, you guys have made sales before, okay? Every single one of you has sold something, whether it be a product or an idea or an opinion. You know how to sell inherently. Now, I don't want to fix what isn't broken, okay? So when you hear these archetypes, don't go, oh gee, I'm not doing enough of that one, I'm going to bring that into my game immediately and I'll smash it, which, you know, you could. But it's more those ones where it's like, okay, this sale's going 50-50. What was just one thing that Darcy taught me on Saturday that I can take away and just implement that into the conversation and just let that play its course, okay? Everything I'm teaching you is a lifelong journey to learn, okay? Right. Lifelong being, you know, well, as long as my life. It must be it's a 24-year journey to learn, okay? So the ability to actually implement it into a conversation, it comes gradually, okay? Is that cool?
Yep. Good.
You're gonna stuff this up. Please do stuff it up. Your quota is 10 mistakes a day with this. And the more that you basically practice just dropping it into conversations and watching how people respond, that's the best way to practice. Practice in a really safe environment, practice in ways that are, you know, that just, you know, the emotion gets brought up, it's still safe, things like this. You guys are responsible enough with that, yeah?
You must get part of that.
Yeah. Yes. So, the 6 selling archetypes. Okay, so starting off with the action taker. The action taker is absolutely the archetype that I'm speaking in a lot throughout this whole training. Now, the action taker archetype taken to its extreme is very much a dominant individual. So they're very much the idea of, let's go, follow me. I am very much an authority as I speak in the action taker archetype. Now, as the vocal archetype itself, it's very much a powerful one, but in modern social times, it tends to just be someone that speaks with a lot of certainty, okay? As I go through the archetypes, I'll bump them up, so I'll exaggerate them so that you can, you know, usually you'll go to around about 60 or 70% of how much I exaggerate as the trainer, so that will sit you at basically normal social level. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the action taker is, yeah, very much the follow me. It's the vocal tonality that I'm using. I've used a lot of it today. Very certain. A lot of times you guys won't even notice it, but a lot of times you're just sitting here nodding your head a lot, which is because it's normal. You want to follow people that are certain. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. So the next one is the jester.
That was a good lead-in. Segue.
Jester. So let's just put here certainty. We'll see about that. So the jester is all about the one who can make them laugh. And it's very much a laid-back tonality. The body language that goes with it is very much more laid-back like this. It's having a laugh. It's like, it's fun. It's all fun and games. As far as the jester is concerned, it's all good. We're just going to play around, have a look, see what happens, and if we stuff it up, if we make a mistake, we're fine. It's all good. All right. There'll be other decisions to make another day. Let's just not take this so seriously.
Very in the moment.
Very in the moment, 100%. Very much like, yeah, it's a pisser, that's funny as. You guys don't care if I swear, do you? Who gives you? It's like, fuck it, who cares? You know, it's very, the tonality is very squeaky and it's very, very light in tonality. Yeah? Cool?
Love it.
Smile. Yeah. Smile. Cool. The fair player. This is extreme. This one's extremely powerful, and I'll run. I like as I go through them. I immediately think, gee, this one's where the power is. No, this one's where the power is. Chances are it's a lot to do with the fair player and the keeper of gold, which we'll get into a tick. But the fair player is extremely powerful in gaining agreement. Sound about right?
You're very funny.
The fair player is a very level tone, and so it's very, you know, I'm sitting up here and you guys are listening, and I'm really appreciative of that. It's fair enough, isn't it? It's like, yeah, yeah, it is. You're right. It's so fair. Yeah. So the fair play is very level tone, and it's not definitely that you'll agree with it, but you will never disagree with it, if that makes sense. So every time someone's speaking the fair player tonality is like, you never want to disagree with a fair player, because if you don't, you're not a fair person. Does that make sense? And that's the thinking that comes in it. Now, these archetypes themselves, it's not necessarily what you say in the archetypes, however, the words that go along with these tonalities typically will, I don't know, again, your brain has a way of linking these types of things. So it'll link a lot of fair words, and, you know, isn't that fair enough? It'll all start to link in together, but it's what's implied by the vocal tonalities themselves, okay? It's when you're using this vocal tonality, this is what I assume about you as a person. Does that make sense? Yes?
Yes.
Cool. Got some blank stares over here. We all good?
Yeah.
Any clarity? No? Okay. So the fair player...
Any clarity? No, that wasn't very good.
yeah. Fair player. So let's just put fairness through.
There's lots of clarity.
Lots of clarity? Good. Okay. The fourth one here is the calculator. Curiosity for the calculator is key. The calculator vocal archetype is very much one of, I'm just here to find out more. I just really want to know. So just tell me, like, what's going on? Like, how's life? How's business? Tell me a bit more. And it's very much like there's that little hump in it. It's just that question that I ask. But as opposed to, it's not like a squeaky question. One of them, has anyone been to a networking event where people stand up and they go up at the end of every single sentence, like this? This is what our business does, and this is what we're here to help you with.
Yeah.
So if you want to head into that, come and talk to me later. Yeah.
It's Australian accent.
Yeah. So the calculator, on the other hand, is just, I just want to know more. Tell me more. Like, it's like there's the squeak, but it's like certainty in the squeak, as opposed to, I got no idea what I'm talking about. Please don't come and talk to me later because I'm scared. Yeah? So the calculator is very much a curious tone, and we ask all of our most effective questions in the calculator tonality. Cool? Making sense so far?
Yeah.
Cool. Next one, my favourite.
Keeper of gold.
I don't have favourites with my children, but I definitely do. Keeper of gold. Keeper of gold, which is something is hidden. Exactly. That's the point. That's up to the client.
It's coming.
Cool. The keeper of gold is the Jade. We've spoken about this before. I think we spoke about this last week too. Isn't it powerful when you actually get a grasp of how powerful this actually is?
It's scary powerful.
It's scary powerful. The keeper of gold is basically, you never use this archetype for more than one sentence at a time. But what it does is it takes the conversation from, wow, you're a salesperson trying to sell to me, and it flips it to you're a salesperson trying to sell to me, but now I'm also really interested in what you've got to sell. Okay. So you ask questions typically in the Keeper of Gold, and it's a matter of let's just do a role play, Christian, if that's okay. Okay. So so what's going on?
Doesn't matter.
Hanging out at the training.
Totally.
How you liking it?
I love
She just followed me straight away. Cool. So it's the lean in. It's like, so how are you liking it? Like, what do you mean? How do I like it? There's something here. Like, yeah, what am I liking about it? You're right. It causes people to really contemplate, oh, maybe there's a little bit more here.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Keeper of Gold. Now the celebrant, by the way, you'll notice, guys, and we talk about this in terms of the illogical and emotional swing of all of these. Once you start using a vocal archetype, people will typically mimic you, and they'll follow your lead and create the emotion and logic within themselves.
What
So
if
the
you're
celebrant
working with
is.
a mismatcher?
Say again.
What if you're working with a mismatcher?
We'll get into that in a second.
Okay.
Cool. So good question. The celebrant is very much one that's usually brought out at the end of a conversation, or if you want to reward behaviours throughout the conversation that you want to see more of. The celebrant is very much good for you. Like, I'm so stoked for you. I'm looking forward to having you in the room. It's going to be great. And it's there's a lightness about it. It's very much, I'm just happy for you that you made the decision. I don't really, it wasn't about the money for me ever, and I'm just stoked for you. It's really good. It's going to be good. It's going to be great to have you in the room. Awesome. Is there anything else I can do for you? And it's very light, and it's very, I'm so here for you, and I'm just stoked. Forget the money. What are you going to use this for? This is awesome.
Got your bank details, thanks.
Yeah. So bank details done. Let's celebrate. So celebrant is very much just a. Oh God, I'm not even going to write celebration. Celebration. There you go. Celebration. Okay. So as I go through these, as I said, you're going to notice some of these that are very much high within you, and others you're like, I never do that. That's just not within my vocal range. It's just not me. So what are you guys noticing? If anyone wants to, throw their hand in, which ones really resonate with you so far?
Probably the jester, so it's a bit more light-hearted, so it takes a bit of...
Yeah. So you make a lot of sales through making jokes first?
Well, just putting the client at ease with the lot. If you know them well, too, so you're not there. So it's like you
What is it, the fastest place for a connection is laughter?
Yep.
Something like that.
Something like that. Some cool quote like that.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
I haven't quite got
Yeah.
the essence of it, but that's the meaning.
That's it. Particularly, the jester will particularly work when it is someone that you know well, but they also know that you're there to do business as well.
Yeah.
And so when you make a joke, it breaks the ice. And it's not necessarily a joke that you have to make. Remember, joke that you make tends to be the words that you say. But through the tonality, you can sort of say anything within reason, but just say it in the jester archetype and they'll bounce along with you.
Yeah.
Cool?
My primary focus is action taker because I love uncertainty so much. But I think my lesson for this is to bring the other ones into it.
Of course.
To create the
Curiosity.
yeah, to create the curiosity and to create the sale. Because the action taker is the obvious one.
Action taker, yes, you do speak
For
in
me,
action
it's the
taker a
obvious
lot.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then to bring in, so the calculator more.
And well, probably the Keeper of Gold as well, and the Jester a little bit, because when you can discuss experiences and sort of make it a bit more fun, rather than just being, you've got to take action on this.
Yep, for sure. So the natural use of the calculator, if you're noticing that's a tonality that you don't use a lot, that's suggesting that you're not asking enough questions throughout your conversations. You're talking too much. Like that's just an observation. It's just what the code says. Like you'll be talking too much to the point where people won't be able to make the decision for themselves, won't be able to buy for themselves. Instead, they'll feel sold at, which you still might make some sales from time to time, but it won't be their decision, and therefore they won't own it. Does that make sense? Yeah.
That's why people are born 2 ears.
Yeah, 2 ears and 1 mouth and 2 ears in that order. Yeah. Cool. What else? Mary, how about yourself?
I'm playing action taker, absolutely. And I do absolutely run around with the jester.
Yeah. Action taker, jester.
Yeah. I'm very intrigued by the Keeper of Gold now.
Okay. So you should be. It's a very intriguing archetype. Yeah. How do you know that you play an action taker in Jester, by the way?
Tonality.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What results are you seeing that tell you that's a thing? Do people typically follow you?
Yes.
Okay. And have fun whilst doing so?
Yeah, I'm a smart ass as well. Yeah. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Cool. Frank?
I'm actually very similar to Mary on this one. I'm the action taker, Jester, and Keeper of Gold as well.
Yeah, and huge fair player.
Yeah.
Your tone is often very, as people notice, it's very level, very just flat tone. It's very, yep, got it. Very, yes, like it's very, it's hard to disagree with. And where it doesn't usually, I know through working with you myself, and if you don't mind me saying,
Yeah,
just observations. It's all, a lot of the time, so myself and Frank have done a lot of work on the website. So a lot of the times Frank will need to sell me the idea of what I should do next with my website, okay? Because I don't know, so I need him to be the trusted advisor to tell me where to go, all right? And a lot of the time...
Trusted advisor to do that.
Well, he's placing himself as a trusted advisor. So basically the idea of, look, I don't know how this is going to work, Frank. I don't know what it should do. And every time he explains what to do, it's a very level tone. So it's just like, you're right, that is the right thing to do. Because in my mind, I'm coming out with action taker. It's like, yeah, let's take action, but I don't know which action to take, so I'm not going to take any. Whereas, so Frank he's like, cool, it's all good. It's fair player, it's fine. So what we're going to do is, or what I need you to do next is this. And every time I leave the conversation, it's not in my head and I take action on it straight away. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool. Dill, how about yourself?
I think there's more pretty now since we last spoke, but I want to know more about the Keeper of Gold. I'm still a bit confused about that one.
Yep. Okay. We'll delve into Keeper of Gold. Yeah. Well, how about we'll go through each one. So we've covered them as a base. Now let's just go deeper into each one and how it applies. Is that cool?